Hello and welcome to my channel. Today is day 18 of my Crafter's Companion 2021 Advent Calendar series. If you've been watching since day one, thank you so much. I hope that you've been enjoying my makes so far. And if you've missed some of my previous videos, they are here on YouTube. You can just go ahead and go back and watch them anytime, because if you don't have this Advent calendar yet, if it's anything like last year's calendar, it'll still probably be available for sale well into next year. So I think there's still opportunity to get this Advent calendar. So what I'm going to do here is actually create a faux embossed look on my card front. So I'm working directly onto my card base here. And these little circles have been die cut from one of the dies that we got behind day number 2. And I actually didn't use this particular die in my day 2 make. So I thought it'd be fun to pull it out, since you often see embossing folders that have that sort of dot pattern. Most of the time it's smaller dots than these, but all the same, this is going to create an interesting pattern, an interesting texture, and just some additional interest to your card. So I've already die cut everything out of the same white paper as my card base, and I did place down one of my circles here incorrectly, which is no big deal. I am using a liquid adhesive, which will be permanent once it's had time to dry completely. But if you lift it up and you give the glue a little bit of time to dry, you can always take a gum eraser like I did and lift some of that glue residue off. The key is to let it dry a little bit though, because if you go in with your gum eraser while that glue is still wet, all you're going to end up doing is actually tear up your cardstock. So I tried really hard to get that first row perfectly straight, and that's why I used my T-square ruler to line up all of the bottoms of the dots so that I know that I went straight across. Now that I have that one reference row in, I'm going to just work left to right, one column at a time, and I was more or less eyeballing the gap up, between the top and bottom of these circles, because it's a really small gap. It's only a 1/16 of an inch. So if it's off by a little bit, I don't think it's going to be very perceptible. So I'm focusing on getting the left edge of all of my circles to line up with each other, and I'm just eyeballing the spacing up and down between the dots. And this is a really cool way of achieving that faux embossed look. You can do it with any die cut that you have that you think might tile nicely or might make for an interesting background. It's just, especially when you do it tone on tone like this, it's nice texture and interest without being busy. So whatever you end up putting or layering on top of this panel, once you've completed it, it's not going to detract or take away from your main focal design, but at the same time, it's going to add some interest and really fill out your card and make it feel a little bit more complete, as opposed to, just having completely empty white space. And this is also really good if you don't have any embossing folders, but you have a lot of dies, because you can sort of get the look of what an embossing folder can do for you, but without having to invest in yet another thing. So maybe look at your dies a little bit differently to see what may work in this sort of technique in order to kind of create these faux embossed backgrounds. My card is a US A2 size card, so that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and behind day 18 is this dandelion stamp and die set. So really, really simple image, and so I thought I'll create a really simple card that's nice and clean and simple, but simple cards can sometimes look a little bit deceptive because, as you can tell, this card is taking quite a while to put together, and I did already do all of the die cutting, which is ended up being quite a lot of these little circles. And placing it is taking a bit of time as well. But once I get this initial background all set, the rest of the card is going to be really, really fast. You'll see I'm pretty much done here. But see how fun and interesting that background already looks just by itself. I think often even the embossing folders that I have that do have this dotty design, they are usually smaller dots, and I actually quite like the scale of these larger ones. But what I'm going to do is actually overlay some black dots onto right on top of some of the existing ones, and I'm going to spell out my sentiment. So I've got an H here, and I'm going to use my dandelion as my I for the word hi. I thought that the dandelion head would be perfect little I, and that's going to be pretty much my card complete. I thought about maybe adding some Nuvo drops or doing something more to this card, but really at the end of the day, I think what's working for it is how simple and how clean it is. And sometimes less is more. So I decided I'm gonna resist the urge to continue adding to this card and keep it nice and simple. I hope that you enjoyed this card, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you want to catch new videos as I publish them, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Come back tomorrow to see what's behind day number 19. Thank you so much, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye!